sir.
You'll also get an exposure to some of the other services being offered by the SWRHA Authority. So you will see a few banners up. So my left and your right, there's a banner that says the Hearts Initiative, and this is in conjunction with PAPO and the World Health Organization, and it's an initiative to treat hypertension and to treat it effectively, because even though many people are treated for hypertension, most of them, less than 20% are actually. So this is an initiative that has already been established in the Freeport Health Center, and eventually it will be rolled out to all the health centers. You can get information on that as well. And this is a countrywide initiative. And then we also have some screening going on as well, and different educational booths where you can go and talk to your nutritionist and so on. So we want to make sure you have a full day that is seen the entire time with us. Once again, thanks for coming. Okay, before we end, we want to do some further presentations, and I will invite Vice Chair of the San Fernando branch, Ms. Shobha Dukulan, to present Dr. Shavita Maraj. Ms. Shobha is still right there. Can I call Mr. Andrew down to the podium, please? Oh, sorry, he's talking to the media. After that. This is Dr. Sandy Arthur here. And then she just spoke. On behalf of the Diabetes Association San Fernando branch, we want to present you with a token of information. And so we ended this part, we do our presentation with Mr. Down in a few minutes, and we want to start our lectures within the next 15 minutes. So you're free to walk around and we'll start our lectures. Thank you. And each person will explain what they're here and what they're doing. So let's talk to people from the...
That's about it. That's about it.
Thank you very much, Richard, from the Detox Authority. Now, I see somebody is enjoying a nice sauna. Is it a sauna? How is it going? Good? Okay, I don't want to come and embarrass you there, right? Yeah, good. So let's move on to Herbalife Nutrition. And I want to say thank you very much for them coming last minute. And you all tell us what it is you'll be doing here today, and invite people to come and take some samples of your energizing tea. So let's go.
I'll hold both of them. So hi, good day. So I'm Coach Julia and I represent Herbalife Nutrition. So what we're doing today is some awesome sampling. We're sampling our energizing, hydrating iced tea, so you can come on down and check it out. And we are coaches. So we represent a company that's around now for almost 40 years. And as coaches, we work with people. We work with people who want to impact their own health and well-being, whether it's good skin, manage their weight, more energy. So we deal with all of that. So come on down, get some more information, and get some free samples. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Herbalife. So you hear they have some very energizing tea. So please come. There's nobody here at the table right now. Okay? And we're moving on to... So we'll be moving on to the Lions booth. And we are very happy to be partnering with the San Fernando Lions Club. I just wanted to get their name right. And as I'm talking to the San Fernando Lions Club, I just want to let you all know that we are also partnering with them to have an event tomorrow, and they will tell you further, but it's anybody who is interested in diabetic retinopathy screening. So it's diabetic retinopathy screening, which is free tomorrow. And Lisa will tell you a little more about it, where the place is, what time. We are also partnering with Trinidad Eye Hospital. So thank you very much, Lions of San Fernando, to be here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Diabetes is one of the core areas of Lions Club International. And as such, we are very concerned about people going blind because of diabetes. Through the efforts of the Trinidad and Tobago Eye Hospital, San Fernando Lions Club and the South Chapter of Diabetes Association will be offering free diabetic retinopathy screening tomorrow from 9 a.m. at the Lions Den, Circular Road, San Fernando. That is opposite OWTU building. Looking forward to seeing you all.
Okay, as we move on to the next booth, I wanted to take some time to present Mr. Andrew Danu, the president of the Diabetes Association, with his token. So, can we have Shobha? We'll do it right here. So Shobha is going to do a presentation to Mr. Danu, this extremely hard-working gentleman who has really raised the image of the Diabetes Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much, Mr. Danu. Enjoy it. Use it. So today we also have retinopathy screeners, and when I get to that booth, they will tell you about it, to come and do retinopathy screening. I am very well.
What's Sauti on Facebook?
What?
What's Sauti on Facebook?
Yes, of course. But I just Yes. Yes. So we move on to the booth where Tracy Leeson, who I really admire, works very hard to tell people about their health. She is a health coach, and she will tell you what it is she does. She also has a very nice, what do you call that, Tracy? A very nice sugar display, and I want everybody to come and see what it's all about, because we drink things and we don't know how much sugar is in our drinks. So please come and visit Tracy's booth, and she will tell you a little bit about what she does.
Hold them together. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Tracy Leeson. I am a certified health coach, and what I do is I teach people how to eat, how to digest. I specialize in something called gut dysbiosis, and so if you know how to digest your food, you know how to heal your body. So basically I show people how to eat, what they should drink, when they should drink it. I don't believe in the word diet. Diet has the word die in it. So I embark on something called a lifestyle change. I help people to improve their conditions through cleansing and through good life choices.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Our next booth is somebody I have been affiliated, a company I have been affiliated with for many years. They're the National Agricultural Marketing and Development Corporation, otherwise known as NAMDEVCO, and I will let our new communications manager of NAMDEVCO talk a little bit about their booth. Marissa?
Hi, good day everyone. So today we're just encouraging everyone to eat local, to plant local produce, to support local and to support the farmers of Trinidad. So today we just have a display of some fresh vegetables and we're giving away seedlings so that everyone could start a kitchen garden at home and support local. Yeah?
He was supposed to do it. Our next booth is Quellcore, and they are located right in San Fernando, and I want them to tell you a little bit about what they are doing.
Morning everybody. So Quellcore is actually a pharmaceutical company. We are distributors of pharmaceutical and nutraceutical items. Here we have a range of vitamins and minerals geared towards diabetes in particular. We have creams, we have ointments, we have multivitamins that can help control the sugar as well too, and we also have products that would help in terms of wound healing.
So thank you very much. Let us move on to our next booth. Even though I see a lot of people are around them. And I'm really happy to have them, even though they called me last minute and I said, come on down. So let's have her. Stacy is going to tell you a little bit because I'm sure I'm coming back to get something done here, as well as I wanted to say thank you to Rebecca who came from CUREP to help with this event. Thank you very much, Rebecca.
Thank you so much for having us. We are from Back in Motion Physical Therapy Services, originally in Point Fortin with another office right behind Massey Stores in Laramine. So you can come to our booth to learn more about physiotherapy, and we form an integral part of the team in the management of diabetes and the prevention of its complications. So if you have neck pain, back pain, anybody with a stroke, brain injury, any sporting injury, you have a fractured hip, you have poor balance, you want to get your sugar under control, you want to prevent becoming a diabetic, this is where you need to be. Especially we're talking about the World Diabetes Day today, so you should have an assessment by a physiotherapist if you're a diabetic at least once a year to ensure that your feet are walk ready and that you are doing the appropriate exercises to suit you and all your underlying conditions. So Asha has left me with the mic. I don't know if she knows that is an unsafe practice because I will talk for the whole morning. But don't leave this Diabetes Association event without passing at the physiotherapy booth.
Thank you very much, Stacy. I see that she is quite a sales lady here. So we're moving on to another booth where there's quite a number of people here, and as you notice that, you can come and get some really nice tasting juice, which I have here. This one is a fruit and veggie juice. I don't know what flavor it is. What flavor is this? The yellow medley, and then there's the green medley and red medley. So I will try the red medley later on and let you all know how it is. Let me have someone from the Nestle booth talk about what they're doing. Feel free to talk.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. Please feel free to visit us. You could get some information from the nutritionists and myself on the Caribbean 6 food groups. We also have samples of our new fruits and veggie blends, so it actually has no added sugar. So come and try all 3 flavors. We have our yellow melody, our green melody, as well as our red melody.
Thank you very much, Nestle. Feel free to come and get some samples from the Nestle booth. Okay, now we're here at the Southwest Regional Health Authority booth, or one of their booths, and this one is the Medical Social Work Services. We have quite a number of booths here, and you can come and hear what they're all about. Who will speak on behalf of the medical?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Ready, right? Yes, we are medical social. Yes, we are medical social workers at Southwest Health Regional Authority. We are based at all health centers and even the hospitals, so you can visit the health center closest to you and just ask to speak to the medical social workers, and they will give you an appointment to us. Some of our roles here are care management, advocate, empower, networking, and most of all counseling. So we are here to provide those services to you.
Thank you very much. We're moving on to another booth of the Southwest Regional Health Authority. I am seeing that they're doing some blood pressure testing and some other testing. So I want somebody from the booth to talk about what it is they're doing, because, you know, people like interactive things and things being done for them. So let's have our young Miss Rampol talk about what is happening.
Hi, good day. So we are some doctors from San Fernando General Hospital, and what we're actually doing is a study in conjunction with Yale University in which we are attempting to prevent the onset of diabetes. So our aim today is to get patients enrolled in the study. And this study would involve us having sessions 1 week for 6 weeks. And in that 6-week period, we'll teach you about diet and exercise so that we can prevent the onset of diabetes in these high-risk patients. So today, what we would be doing is doing a little survey, finding about how you eat, how you exercise, as well as your comorbidities such as high blood pressure, if you have a family history of any of those comorbidities. And then we'll do a point of care testing, meaning it's just a finger prick test, which will show how your sugar control was for the past 3 months. Based on this value, we can tell if you are diabetic, meaning you have problems controlling the sugar, or if you are high risk of getting that, or whether you are normal and you have no problems with your sugar control. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we really want people to come and be a part of this program, because it's very important for us stopping people from actually getting diabetes. So you need to know your figures. You need to know exactly what is happening with your health. We don't want anybody to be walking around with diabetes and they don't know that they have it. So we're moving on to the next booth. Okay, so we're here at one of the booths of the Southwest Regional Health Authority, and this one is dealing with pharmacy services. So let's get somebody from this booth to tell us a little bit about what they do, and if you wait a little bit, they will be coming and giving a lecture on medications.
Hi, good day. We are representing the Southwest Regional Health Authority Pharmacy Services Department. Basically, what we're doing here today is we're going to give you a little information on what diabetes is and how to manage it using your medication. We'll also give advice on how to properly take your medication so it will work effectively. So feel free to come across to our booth. Thank you.
You all are doing something else, right? Yes. What are you all talking about? Okay, so I'm moving on to the next booth, and they're giving information about knowing your numbers, and let me have one of you gentlemen talk a little bit about it.
Okay, I represent primary care.
of the Southwest Regional Health Authority. And here we have different flyers telling patients about things that they ought to be having to eat or not. It's good information. It tells you how to read labels. Patients who are at risk of, if they want to know if they're at risk of diabetes, they have the information here, how to prevent it, etc. We also have knowing your numbers. A lot of patients who have hypertension, they don't know what their value should be. So they're on medications, they don't know what that value should be. So we have the information here for them. We also have the Hearts Initiative, which Dr. Sandy mentioned about. And we have here a little chart showing the algorithm that we have been using at the Freeport Health Center. So this is going to be coming across the whole Southwest region and across the country as well. Thank you very much.
Is retinopathy screening, and that's very important for people who are living with diabetes to know what is happening at the back of their eyes. So let me put on to
Nilisha Monroe. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to introduce you, if you haven't heard about retinopathy screening before, I just want to introduce you to this test that is done to take a quick look at the back of your eye. As all diabetics might know, it's very important to look at your eyes, your feet, as well as what you eat, what you drink, and also taking note of your numbers. So to test the back of your eye, what we do is simply a quick picture, and we look at the picture and see if there are any diabetic changes at the back of the eye. What we do want to do is to address these little changes early on before it gets to be a big problem. So we want to take a quick look and fix a small problem before it becomes any bigger. We do this on a daily basis, every day at the Southwest Regional Health Authority. We have different clinics through Southwest Regional Health Authority at different locations. We try to bring this service as close as possible to patients to make it easier and easily accessible to everyone. If you know anyone that's diabetic and hasn't checked their eyes, or if you are diabetic and you need to get your eyes looked at, please come and visit us and give us your name. We will set up an appointment for you. There's no waiting list and there's no waiting for appointments, and we will be able to give you a test as soon as possible and provide results as quickly as we can within a month, so that you can have this information, which is vital information for all diabetic patients.
Very much, and I know how important that screening is to a diabetic. Okay, so the last booth we'll be moving on for the afternoon before we begin our lectures, and I want to let everybody know to please come and sit down in the atrium. The first lecture is going to be done by Dr. Joel Tilak Singh. So Dr. Tilak Singh, don't go too far. We're here at the San Fernando Diabetes Association booth, which I am proud to be the chairperson of, and I want somebody from this booth to talk a little bit about what we are having here. So can I have somebody to talk? I will introduce our very hard-working assistant secretary, who is Mr. Videsh Balgoben. He will say a little bit, so talk about everything that we're doing.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We are the Diabetes Association, the San Fernando branch. We are glad to be here on World Diabetes Day. At our booth, we have a raffle drawing at $5 for a chance. You have a chance to win a hamper. We also have t-shirts on sale, as well as Diabetes Association mugs. And we also have a chance to get the punch board, to play the punch board. So you just have to fill out 2 forms, as well as you'll get a chance to play the punch board. And
so please come and take a part of our raffle. We also have a really lovely Nestle hamper, and it's only $5 a chance, and you can win a Nestle hamper. You also can buy one of our wonderful cups and take part in the punch board by filling out our forms, and you can purchase one of our San Fernando Branch Diabetes Association T-shirts. It's only $60. Thank you very much. So these are the booths, and I want to move on immediately to our lectures. Please come and sit down in the seat so you can hear, because it's an interactive session where you can ask questions of our Dr. Tilak Singh. Yes?
Thank you.
Associate lecturer at UWI,
which is held on the 14th of November each year. And we're grappling with one of the most frightening scourges in the world. It's the leading cause of blindness. I know that we've had some talks already. It's the leading cause for kidney failure among young people, and number one cause for loss of limbs. And it has been thought that about 400 million people are affected with diabetes in the world. 400 million people. There are so many words to think about when we are discussing diabetes. Can be vicious, nasty, brutal, angry, hateful, cursed. There is nothing good about diabetes, except you better look after it very well if you want to prevent the complications. And one of the things that we talk about, and the Diabetes Association, one of the things the Southwest Regional Health Authority is trying to push is that personal responsibility about health. You have to accept responsibility on your own. You can't think that the nurses and the doctors and the people around you, you can't think that, okay, I went to the hospital, I saw a rude doctor, the nurse was hoggish, and that's why I'm not going to take my medications. That's exactly the sort of thinking that will make you go blind, that will make you lose your limbs or end up on dialysis. It's time actually to focus on personal responsibility, to focus on your health. So I've been asked to talk a little bit about some of the myths and misconceptions associated with diabetes. And one of the myths, because everyone speaks about sugar, so everyone speaks about it being a problem associated only with diet. But what we know now is that diabetes is not only about lifestyle. It is also a mixture, it's a complex mixture of changes that occurs within the person. So although we will talk about diet and exercise and obesity, it's genetic, it's environmental, it may even be social and cultural. A lot of these things involving diabetes is not just about fat around the tummy, changes to the liver, the kidneys, the intestine, and the brain. It is not just a matter of being a fat person's disease. It can affect persons who are slimmer. People think that when they are diabetic, that they should seek spiritual help. People think that they want to stop their medications and seek advice from a spiritual leader. Some persons actually think that is part of their karma. So that fatalistic view that that's the end of the road when it comes into diabetes. And that too is a myth or misconception. We know that there is a plethora of herbal doctors. People saying, stop your medications from the hospital or health center and use these herbs. And that's a money-making enterprise. This is exactly the sort of problem that we're grappling with at the hospitals and health centers. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be on drugs lifelong. Some people start with their medications and with their diet and exercise and weight loss are able to stop it after. myths and misconceptions. People stop their drugs and they switch to Karaili and Saijan and bush rum and all sorts of bush tea. So they're stopping their medications thinking that it's going to help their sugar. And lots of the persons actually come and say, but doctor, I've noticed that when I drink alcohol, my sugar actually improves. Truth is, a lot of the time, they find that they don't eat, they drink alcohol and the sugar actually gets too low. So as a result, a lot of people who lose weight, excuse me, socially here, so another problem that we have in 2019 is people when they lose weight are told that something is wrong with them. They're ridiculed that something is wrong. You have cancer, you have AIDS, you have some sort of life-threatening illness, and culturally, persons may actually think that they're not as attractive if they lose weight. And that's also one of the difficulties in managing and changing lifestyles, trying to get a change in mindset when it comes into diabetes. And what about the use of insulin? That's a fear that the Diabetes Association has to deal with, so I think on a daily basis. People are afraid about starting insulin. They think that using insulin means the end of the road. A lot of people are afraid of needles. They think that needles, especially from your childhood fears of vaccinations, persons think that needles, those long-time shots that you would get for TB and smallpox that used to leave you with these scars on your arm, that the needles are not like that. They're smaller, they're finer. Many of the needles are actually smaller than the one that you stick your finger with. So don't be afraid of insulin. Work with your doctor. It will be something, it's just another step in management. And that's what children with diabetes deal with on a daily basis. Not just one injection, but sometimes 3 and 4 injections. And they're life-saving to protect their eyes, their kidneys, feet, and of course heart. That is something, that is a fear, that if you start insulin, the needles are a problem and it's the end of the road. The problem is a lot of people start insulin too late. At that point, the diabetes has ravaged the organs. And starting insulin too late may not be effective at that point if damage has already occurred. So the persons who say, I had a grandmother who started insulin and promptly died, the thing is that there were problems brewing perhaps for decades, and the insulin was begun when the damage had occurred. And many of these diets, many of these starvation diets are not something that we would endorse. So speaking with a dietitian is probably best, and working with the Diabetes Association as part of your management. In closing, so I just wanted to delve a little bit about some of the myths and misconceptions that we encounter socially, so and at hospital too. I just wanted to give a brief plug to get your flu shot, your influenza vaccine. Your influenza vaccine, because a misconception there is that you don't need to have that flu shot. And the truth is, all diabetic persons, all persons with diabetes, persons with chronic medical illnesses, you have a bad heart, you've had a stroke, you have high blood pressure, you have cancer, consider getting an influenza shot. You've been hearing about the epidemic of diabetes, but there's also another epidemic where everyone is getting viral type illnesses, fever, colds, coughs. And many of those infections might be due to influenza. And these vaccines are available free of charge in the public sector. Avail yourself to a flu shot. That is something that you should be looking for. A lot of people think a myth is that they don't need it, they never get sick, they never get the virus. Part of the reason you're taking it is to protect others who cannot take the vaccine. So persons at extremes of age, from the age of 2, those over the age of 65, chronic medical illnesses, pregnant patients, healthcare workers, get your influenza shot. Now, when we're talking about diabetes, it always comes with a discussion about weight, so and obesity. And I just want to also say that as a separate epidemic, obesity, the fat around the tummy, and I think that one of the things for World Diabetes Day is that we have to change our behavior. We have to not just think about genes and hormones and all those kind of things. We have to learn to make food that is not just cheap and not just tastes good, but food that is healthy. So I like the fact that some of these booths are actually proponents for healthy living. So the Namdevco booth has natural foods available and things that we can be planting. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, peas and beans, low-fat food. We have actually learned to make food refined. We have learned to add sugar and fat. We have substituted machines for muscles. And we've actually learned to be fat. Not just in Trinidad, but worldwide. And I think it's time to get back to basics. I want to congratulate the South Branch of the Diabetes Association, the San Fernando Branch of the Diabetes Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and indeed the entire Diabetes Association. So along with the members of the Southwest SWRHA, so a lot of the doctors, the nurses and auxiliary staff are here. So I want to congratulate them, and I want to thank all the members of the audience for being here. Thank you very much, and God bless.
So we are inviting Dr. Tilak Singh to stay for just a few more minutes. And does anyone have any questions to ask him on what he just said? You can raise your hands. There's a person with the mic. I'm just giving you 30 seconds to ask a question. I'm not seeing anybody. Okay, somebody's raising their hands there.
Good day. My name is Andra Sukram. I'm a pre-diabetic, right? So you say it have certain things like, you know, as what you eat and thing, right? So what about, or if you're pre-diabetic, they have stuff like snacks or stuff that you could still eat?
Yeah, it's a good thing you're asking there, since that is, you know, we use that word that diabetes is an epidemic and obesity is an epidemic. Yeah. Pre-diabetes is also an epidemic. And especially someone like you're Trinidadian, if you're so above a certain age, if you have it in your family, girls with polycystic ovaries, people with a fatty liver, those are all things that might increase your chance for becoming a pre-diabetic and eventually a diabetic. It's like a red flag that you're waving. You have to be sure that you don't want to make that transition from pre-diabetes into diabetes. The important thing is intensive lifestyle changes. The diet must be similar to that of a diabetic. It's not saying that you have snacks that you can overindulge into. Once more, it's everything in moderation. We talk about things like carbs, those refined carbs like white flour, white rice and white sugar. Those things that you may want to be reducing and substituting to more complex or starchy foods. There's a term that the dietitians used sometimes called glycemic index foods. Foods that are like white bread or white flour, white sugar, have a higher number
and things like oats and bran and fiber may have a lower number. So foods similar to that of a diabetic. It's not saying that you could be eating well and so on too. Remember that that is a warning, that is a red flag that you've been told that you're pre-diabetic, so you want to be very careful from now. So I want to congratulate you actually for taking the time to actually be interested in something like this as a pre-diabetic, because it means that you're standing on the threshold of becoming a diabetic. The same screening applies to you, that you want to go for blood tests at least perhaps once a year. You want to pay attention to exercise as well. 30 to 60 minutes of walking, running, jogging, some sort of physical activity. So diet as well as exercise remain the cornerstones. There are some tablets some folks sometimes use, but I don't think it's necessary yet, but that's something to chat with your doctor about. And of course, doing at least blood tests at least once a year.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Baliram.
Good day.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Welcome.
I just want to encourage my little friend here because I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes 42 years ago. Yes. And I was told that I would definitely become a diabetic if I did not pay much attention to my diet and so on. And I took up the challenge from then, because in my family there was a first cousin who died at 47 years and another cousin who died at 35 years. And I took it very seriously.
It's frightening.
I stuck to the diet and the exercise, and I really thank God and all the doctors and nurses and being in the Diabetes Association for the support I've got from getting the support from my family, which in the beginning wasn't so easy, but I stuck with it, and eventually now they know that they do not just put sugar in all the drinks, and they put aside my drink and put aside my cereal or whatever and don't put sugar in it. So
bless you.
I am
so it's a
happy
word
that
of
I sat with you.
encouragement.
Yes. Thank
so
you.
and if I could also say too that they are very interested in pre-diabetes in the world, you know, and in places like the United States, they have looked at people like you who have been diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and they found that you could live your entire life and not become a full-blown or a frank diabetic. And if you continue with healthy living, with your diet and exercise and weight loss, you can actually cut your chance of becoming a diabetic by as high as 58%. So you don't need any tablets or medications, just lifestyle, just lifestyle. So, and if we could remind our friends in the audience about people at risk for diabetes, we spoke about just being a Trinidadian. We spoke about your age if you're over 40. We talked about things like gestational, polycystic ovaries, a lot of younger girls and women with that, fatty livers, if you've had big babies as well. And we spoke about things like family histories, hypertension, heart disease, high cholesterol. If you have those problems, you have to be screening for diabetes. So get your sugar checked today.
I know a lot of people would want to ask more questions. We have more doctors coming in talking, and we'll be following up with one more doctor. So please don't go. I want to introduce and say thank you very much, first of all, to Dr. Joel Tiloxing for coming and giving us. I know a lot of people line up to come and see you in your practice, but this one was free. And we just want to say thank you very much. We want to present you with a token. So thank you very much, Dr. Tiloxing. Thank you very much, Dr. Tiloxing. We're moving on straight to another doctor. So there are still some chairs I see empty. Please come and listen to Dr. Sudesh Baliram. He is Health for Life Medical Clinic. He has been in practice for over 22 years, and he will tell you a little more about general diabetes and whatever he chooses. So if you all listen, you can ask questions of Dr. Baliram. Let's welcome Dr. Baliram, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody? Sorry, if I had known... Hi, Stacy. If I had known I was going to meet this crowd and such well-dressed people, I would have done a better job. I came straight from work. And to follow Dr. Joel Tiloxing is a hard act to follow. All right? So it was very lovely presentation Dr. Tiloxing did, and apparently some before him. So folks, I know you all hearing a lot about diabetes. So you know what? I want to put a little different slant to it today. I have half an hour to do so, so let's see how fast we can do this. I wanted to talk about the common myths about diabetes. Right? You know, there are a lot of things that you hear. There are a lot of things that you hear that may not be true, and that is where your healthcare professionals come in. Please, if at any point in time you're concerned about your health, please attend to your healthcare professional, whether it's your nurse, your doctor. Please get further advice, and so that you could be properly attended to. So, folks, we're gonna start. I always like to talk about everybody. I'm sure I like to start with a little joke. Everybody, I'm sure, hear this one already. But you know, there's this guy, his name is John. I don't know who could answer this question, right? John has 32 candies, 32, right? And he ate 28. What does he have now? Anybody? Yeah, where's the answer? I normally get about 4. 4 is the answer? No. John has diabetes now. All right, all this candy. Folks, this is just a question reflective of our diet today. Are we really looking at our diet? Are we really eating healthy? All of us must be accountable. Remember, we said that your health is in your hand. Each and every one of us must be accountable for what we eat, for the physical activity that we do each day, for the weight that we maintain. Each and every one of us. You cannot blame anyone who is helping you, whether it's your doctor, your nurse, your pharmacist. You are ultimately responsible for your health. We are here for advice and counseling. We are here to treat you just like Dr. Tiloxing. He sees lots and lots of diabetes patients. So we are here to help guide you along that way. So folks, I know a lot of statistics passed this morning. I just want to touch on, what do you all feel about, is diabetes a problem in Trinidad and Tobago? I just thrown out some questions. Is diabetes a problem in Trinidad? What do you think is the prevalence of diabetes in Trinidad and Tobago right now? Anybody? Sorry, I don't have prizes to give for the answers. I'll just tell you well done if you get it correct. What do you think is the prevalence? How many people in Trinidad and Tobago has diabetes? Estimate. Anybody? %? That's a high figure. If 90% means that things really bad, right? Things really bad if it's 90%. Any other answers? Yes, the young man in black.
14 to 15%.
14 to 15%. All right. Yeah, I think we getting closer to there. Now, first I'd like to say our statistics and surveying in Trinidad with respect to medical diagnoses our surveillance is not really up to par, but you know, your 14% is actually close. Right now, probably is estimated, and I stand to be corrected. It's closer to 20%. So in other words, 1 out of 5 individuals has diabetes. Now, that is bad, right? But even worse, what is the projected amount? WHO had actually did some calculations, and they said by about 2030, 2040, yes. So it's going to be closer to 25%. That will be 1 in 4 individuals. So folks, I want you to reflect on those figures. Just imagine in a few years, 10, 20 years from now, 1 in every 4 individuals in Trinidad and Tobago will have diabetes. That is some gloomy bit of information, don't you all think? Because based on everything you all heard, diabetes can cause a lot of problems, can't it? It can have us have a very sick population if not properly attended to. So folks, Trinidad does have one of the highest rates of diabetes in the world. So we need to pay attention to that. In the UK, they estimate it's about 6% of their population. In the United States, they estimate about 9.3% of their population. But what they're especially talking about now, folks, I'll just mention, I don't know exactly what was spoken about before, but important things, childhood obesity. I don't know if much was spoken about that before. Folks, our kids are becoming more and more obese. In my practice, and I'm sure a lot of the other doctors' practice, we are seeing kids that are coming more and more obese, and that's primarily because of bad eating habits. Now, I said before, your health as adults is in your hands. For your kids, however, you are responsible for your kids. So you know what? Your kids' diet is in your hands. What you prepare, what you advise, what you counsel your kids to on eating. So parents out there, you are responsible for your kids and what they eat and what they drink. Childhood obesity is causing, of course, obesity on the whole is causing a rise in diabetes. Childhood obesity means to say we are getting diabetes at much younger age groups. So folks, this doesn't augur well for our population. Anyone heard, there was one time a newspaper article where they said Trinidad and Tobago was the fattest country in the world. Anybody remember that? We were the fattest country in the world, and it's not because we have the most amount of money. It's because we have a population that has been increasing weight. But folks, you know, we understand as healthcare professionals that your life is stressful, and sometimes diet is not always easy to follow. We eat what we can. You know, a lot of us on a seafood diet, we eat what we see. But folks, we have to change things. For us to be a healthier society, we have to make some big changes. Right, so I'm not so sure if these figures were sent to you before, but up to a few years ago, we had about 382 million people living with diabetes in the world. Right, and still, consider this, many more of them were undiagnosed. So Dr. Tilak Singh was talking about screening. Folks, if it's one message I want to tell everyone here today, is that you should, screening does not involve much. A simple visit to your doctor would quickly resolve that situation. It involves a blood test and of course a fasting blood test at best, and your doctor will advise on some other tests that you need, especially one called the HbA1c. For those of you who are diabetics, you will know about this test. So please, it's a simple procedure. Everyone needs to be screened. In the United States, they say the Afro-American population is at highest risk. In our population, we've noticed, at least in the early stages, it was more the Indo population that is at higher risk. So folks, it's not much about genetics anymore. I just want to let you all know that. Yes, when you come to our office, we ask you about your family history, but it's a lot about environment, and your lifestyle. We have individuals now with diabetes that have no family history of diabetes. So that is something to think about. They have no family history. So you know what? It's all about lifestyle. It's what you eat, how active you are, how you're maintaining your weight, etc. So folks, this particular topic is on myths. I chose this one especially because I like interaction from the crowd. So I started with all these bits of information because I wanted to give you a lot of the answers before we talk about it. But folks, let me tell you a next dramatic piece of information. I thought it was eye-opening when I saw it. How does diabetes change your life expectancy? Does anybody know? Does it? Does having diabetes change your life expectancy? And the answer, it is. It does. It does affect your life expectancy. Of course, the worse control your life expectancy is, it has been seen and shown that actually it shaves off a few years off your lifespan. One study had shown that it is reduced by up to more than 20 years in someone who has type 1 diabetes. Now I imagine they talked about type 1 and type 2 diabetes before me. But just imagine that, up to 20 years shaved off in a type 1 diabetic and up to 10 years for a type 2 diabetic. What do you think about that? Isn't that eye-opening? When someone has diabetes, it can shave that amount off your life expectancy and perhaps more if it's not properly managed. Alright, but you know folks, all is not lost. If you manage the diabetes in collaboration with your healthcare professionals, we can try to make things better. We can make your life improved, your quality of life improved, and you can live a normal life. Diabetes is not a life sentence. This sounded like my closing statement, right? But it is not a life sentence. It is within your control, and again, together under the advice of your healthcare professional, you can get it under control. Dr. Tiloksing also touched on prediabetes. Folks, prediabetes is becoming more and more of an important entity to look at. We know what prediabetes is, right? Pre meaning just before. This is the condition that it happens just before becoming diabetic. And this is where screening comes in. If we can catch you as a pre-diabetic, your prognosis would be much better. We will be able to affect your quality of life much better. The likelihood that you will move on to becoming a diabetic is less. We can possibly keep you in that pre-diabetic range for a very long period of time. And hence your prognosis and complications statistically will be less. So folks, very important, a pitch for screening again. There are definitely too many myths out there, right, about diabetes, and the thing about myths is that it makes it difficult for people to believe some of the hard facts. We need to separate the facts from the myths, right, because diabetes is a very serious and it's a potentially deadly disease. So folks, we need to clear up the myths. I want to go straight because I wasn't here, so I imagine a lot of the basics was touched on. But did you all know diabetes? I'm going to give you all the gloomy information first. The number 1 cause for blindness is diabetes. Number 1 cause for amputations in Trinidad and Tobago is diabetes. Number 1 cause for kidney failure in Trinidad and Tobago is diabetes. So folks, some very serious problems, and on diabetes, and especially uncontrolled diabetes, is the underlying problem. So please, whether if you are not directly affected, if you have somebody who is affected, you need to help them along their journey to manage this problem, because complications can occur, and these are just some of the complications. All right, so I think I asked this one already. We're going to start the questions. You're going to tell me whether it's a myth or if in fact it's a fact. We talked about this one. Diabetes is not a serious disease. Yes, we answered this one already, right? So we really don't have anything to give out for people answering correct. Shobha? We don't have anything to give out for those who answer incorrect questions. Of course, you'll get plenty information from the Diabetes Association of Trinidad and Tobago. All right. So yes, folks, it is a very serious condition and we need to get on top of it. We need to, if we are directly affected, you need to take control of your health and your life. And for those of us with friends and family, please counsel them, at least push them in the right direction towards proper health care. Okay, next question. If you are overweight and above your normal body weight, will you eventually develop type 2 diabetes? Let me ask you that again. If you are overweight and above normal body weight, you will eventually develop type 2 diabetes. Myth or fact? Fact. The young lady saying is fact. Anybody? All right, folks. The fact that you're overweight doesn't automatically mean that you're going to develop diabetes. If that was the truth, God help us all right? We will all develop diabetes one day, but you know what? Thank God. If you're overweight, you are at higher risk to develop diabetes. It is a risk factor, right? You're at a higher risk of developing this disease. So you know what? If in fact you are not at your ideal weight, one of the things you need to do is to get there. And of course, in collaboration again with your healthcare professionals, we can counsel you and advise you on how to get there. So we need to get to our ideal weight. All right? Any questions on that before I move on? Let's move on. Eating too much sugar causes diabetes. Myth or fact? Eating too much sugar causes diabetes. Now, I'll give you a little heads up, right? Some of these are trick questions. Myth? Anybody? Fact? Well, folks, this question is actually, it's not a simple answer. It's like being overweight. You're not automatically going to get diabetes. So therefore, eating too much sugar doesn't automatically mean you're going to get diabetes. But guess what? If you're eating badly, you're eating too much sugar, you're getting too much calories in, and you're gaining weight, of course, it means to say you're going to get more at risk to develop diabetes, right? Make sense? It's not an automatic. It's not a rule of thumb. All right. People with diabetes should eat special diabetic foods. People with diabetes should eat special diabetic foods. Myth or fact? Myth? Yeah. People with diabetes should eat special diabetic foods. We get a mixed reaction. Healthy eating, well, yeah, that's a good answer.
I believe there's a myth.
Is a myth? Yeah? Okay. And actually, I agree with you. The fact is, a healthy meal plan for somebody with diabetes is generally the same as, say, like a healthy diet for anyone, in a broad sense. I want everybody to appreciate there are a lot of diabetic, so-called diabetic foods out there. And of course, once we come to special foods, you know, it has special prices. So there are a lot of foods out there that they're saying for diabetics, a lot of drinks out there for diabetics. Please be counseled on what is actually going to benefit you, because we don't want to be spending a whole set of money to maintain a diet you don't need. Right? A healthy diet, one low in saturated and trans fats, one low moderate in salt and sugar, meals based on lean protein, non-starchy vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats and fruits. Folks, it doesn't take much money. Of course, in general, I will say, all right, minutes, but that means to say I have to close up fast. So folks, it doesn't take much money to actually, okay, in general, I will accept eating healthy now is not cheap in a general sense. If you want to eat healthy, compared to eating fast food, sometimes, folks, it takes a little extra effort, it takes a little extra expense, all right? But the answer to this question is no, a diabetic doesn't need to eat special diabetic foods. Yes, they need to follow a diet, but not everything that they see. You know, this is especially for diabetics, this drink is especially for diabetics, this food is, you know, we can moderate what we eat and yet be healthy. I'll just go through one or two more if you all allow me. People with, okay, I'll go, this one is a good one. People with diabetes can't eat sweets or chocolate. People with diabetes cannot eat sweets or chocolate. True or false? False. What is life without a little chocolate? But folks, again, we need to keep the meals healthy. Everything in moderation. I always tell patients you can have a little bit of everything. From a practical point of view, you can have a little bit a little bit of everything, but not too much of any one thing. So if you're going to sit down with a chocolate bar, don't eat the whole bar. Eat 1 or 2 blocks just to pacify yourself, but life is worth living, right? You can catch diabetes from someone else. You can catch diabetes from someone else. Is diabetes like the common cold? No. All right. Okay, I'll end with this one. Fruit is a healthy food. We all agree on that. Therefore, it is okay to eat as much of it as you wish. No? Any yeses? I'll give you this short story and I'll close up with this. I had this very enthusiastic patient and she used to make smoothies all the time. And I said, yeah, smoothie is fine. And we initially agreed on how to, you know, the proper way to make a smoothie. You notice that to make a smoothie, half of it should be green foods, right? You're blending up some green foods and you're blending up some fruits. Half and half, general ratio. So she's going good. But after a while, we noticed the sugar started to get out of control. And why? So I started to ask her, well, what changed in the diet? Nothing else changed in the medication. She started to put less of the green stuff and more of the fruits. Because more of the fruits means to say it's sweeter, right? More of the strawberry, more of the pineapple. And so guess what? It reached the point where it was only fruits. So that was the problem. So we need to, you need all to pay very close attention to what we eat, what we drink, folks. Please maintain a healthy weight. I'll conclude by that. I had lots more, but sorry, my time is up. I hope you all appreciate it. I thank Diabetes Association, San Fernando branch for inviting me. If there is any questions, I don't know, I could probably entertain 1 to 2 questions.
I think that we shouldn't go with the questions because we have so much more people. And Dr. Baliram, don't leave. Don't leave. The thing about it, he was talking about fruits, he was talking about food. So we're going to have a next lecture on that specific aspect. So you all need to stay here because a lot of people want to find out what things they need to eat and in what amounts. So we want to say thank you very much to Dr. Baliram. Come, let us give you your token. Dr. Baliram, can you come up to the podium, please? If you realize the time is already 1:45 and we're supposed to be closing up at 3, we have 3 more lectures. Okay? So Dr. Baliram, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking time out of your very active practice. And we hope that you will be more with the San Fernando branch, right? Yes. For a member of the audience who we find has been very active and asking questions. And I want to ask the young man with the black shirt to stand up, please. Rebecca, where are you? Ask him to say his name.
My name is Andres Sukram.
And where do you live?
Rusilak,
Rosilac. So we have branches in Pinal, in Siparia, and in San Fernando who offer support services to everybody to really teach you about how to take care of your health. And we want to encourage you, because you say you're pre-diabetic, you never have to become a diabetic if you take care of your health. So on behalf of the San Fernando branch of the Diabetes Association, I want to present you with a small token. So Shobha, can you go to him and give him this small token of appreciation? So you see, if you're part of our lecture sessions, you can benefit. And while that is being done, we want to move on to our nutrition segment. I want to introduce a very special young lady who has been assisting me a lot in the San Fernando branch. She's a nutritionist with Southwest Regional Health Authority, recently assigned to Point Fortin, but she has taken her time to come here and talk about nutrition. So, you know, as a normal everyday individual, you need to learn how to eat healthy and take care of yourself so you can never get any of these chronic diseases. So she wants to talk not at the podium but on the ground. So let me pass on the mic to her. Her name is Nikita Mitchell. Let's welcome her, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, I like to be close to the audience. Everybody know that about me, right? So the thing about it, before I get started with this presentation, I just want to do a little slogan. I was trying to come up with a slogan in my mind, right, before we get started, because again, we're going to talk about food, and I know most of us will love food. Now, we have to think about a healthy lifestyle, though, in relation to what we are going to eat and so on. And you know, this segment is more about controlling or preventing diabetes. So, this is the slogan: eat right, exercise, give diabetes a real good fight. You all can remember that? Right? Eat right, exercise, give diabetes a real good fight. Let me hear you all. Right, good. Because again, we know that there are other forms of management, you know, with your medications and so on. But as a dietitian, you know, we tend to focus on diet and exercise. But I'm going to focus mainly more on what we should eat. Now, I know many persons have talked about all the different statistics behind diabetes and heart disease especially, because we know that the motto or the theme, today is taking diabetes to heart. So there's a link. And you know, many a times that diabetes, persons with diabetes, 3 or 4 times more likely to develop any heart disease or stroke, even at a younger age too. So that is why diet is very important. And there's a link between the diet associated to diabetes and heart disease as well. It's not a major change, but we have to zoom in a little bit more on some principles which we're going to discuss. Feel free, we're going to make it interactive and interesting, right? Now, the thing about it is that many a times we feel diabetes, okay, must be just affecting our blood sugars alone. But our heart tend to be affected as well, our kidneys, etc. So we have to pay close attention exactly to what we are eating. Not just about the amount, but the type and how we are preparing our meals, etc. So my first principle behind this is fiber up your diet. Now I'm making this a nutrition bite. It's not a bit, but a bite. So you realize that we could talk more after concerning it. Now, fiber up your diet. When you think about fiber, we're thinking about whole wheat and whole grain products, right? We're thinking about oats. We like our cream of wheat, provisions, the brown rice, etc. But then too, apart from that, you have our fruits and vegetables that you can include within your diet. Fiber. Many a times we believe, okay, we're focusing on the provisions, but our nuts, your peas, your beans, your grains, and so on, they also have some bit of fiber too. So whenever you sit down to have a meal, you want to try to incorporate those foods within your diet. Understand? And another tip behind that is try to make half the plate whenever you sit down to eat. Picture, visualize, not the 10-inch plate, a nice 8-inch plate, right? make half that plate vegetables. That is a simple guide. When half the plate is vegetables now, you're letting quarter of it can either be raw, quarter of it can be cooked, right? But you want to focus mainly on a lot of your veggies. So you know for sure you're getting the fiber there. And you know the benefits of fiber, it helps to control the blood sugars. It keeps you full even longer. So you know sometimes you might eat 2 slices of white bread. Actually no, we're eating 4 and 5, right? But with a whole wheat or whole grain bread, you realize you'll eat less. Or any multi-grain bread. As opposed to even if you were to use a cereal like corn flakes as opposed to bran flakes, you realize the quantity will be different. So that is another benefit of fiber. It keeps you full longer, right? So we get that in there. So we keep in the plate in our mind, right, as we continue to go along. So now remember we are linking diabetes and heart health. So the next thing we want to look at is sodium. Now, sodium, when you hear about sodium, what comes to mind? I see a smile. Salt, somebody else said it. So again, yes, that is a major contributor to, of sodium. But you know we have hidden foods that will give us that sodium, right? So we're looking at the MSG. Okay, any flavor enhancers. Today, no, we are no longer want to prepare our soup from scratch. So we buy the soup it up. Or we open a package of soup. I put it to boil. Quick fix now, processed foods, convenience foods. You'll find a lot of sodium in them, right? So I remember my grandmother used to tell me a good cook will never use flavor enhancers. You all agree? So we have to go back, spicing up your food naturally. And that is one way of reducing your sodium. Because remember, sodium is found in your garlic, your onion, your chive, your celery. They have natural sodium in them. But you know what happened to us? Our taste buds got really corrupted. That if we cook food with just those things alone, we say, oh gosh, the food does taste bad. Or you know what we like to say? It tastes like the hospital food. You know, I like to use that term, right? Because we are not using those flavored butters, etc. Cooking your food naturally. So that's one thing to always remember. So always remember too, first thing, fiber up your diet. Second, spice up your food naturally, right? Another one now, face the fats. Remember we're thinking heart health too, right? And you see it's a link with diabetes. So heart health. We have 4 types of fats. We have the good ones. They fall too. They have this thing they call it the good fat sisters and the bad fat brothers. So we have polyunsaturated fat and we have monounsaturated fats. Those are 2 unsaturated fats. Those are good fats. You want to get that within your body. Why? Because it helps to keep your cholesterol low. It's not going to clog your arteries. It's even going to give you additional nutrients as well because there are a lot of fat-soluble vitamins and minerals that they will give you, right? And also in that category, you'll get your omegas. So some foods we like. We're thinking about your nuts and seeds. They will have them. Think plant-based oils. So we're looking at soybean, canola. What other type of oil we have again? Any of your vegetable oils. Even olive oil, right? Now I see persons are using a lot of the grapeseed oil, etc. Think plant-based. Plant-based oil, and they tend to be liquid at room temperature. They're not going to be solid, right? So that is where you want to focus on. Even fish, right? There are omegas in the fish as well, which is a good source of the omega. So we're looking at that. Now, as I said, love those fats. Now we have 2 other fats, and they usually call them the bad fat brothers, right? Sorry, males, right? But we have the saturated fat, which we tend to limit. We want to limit that in our diet. Now, they're usually more of animal origin. So you have things like butter and ghee. Those kind of things will give you the saturated fat. Think meat, animal products, you will get that fat in. You want to limit that in your diet. So generally, you want to look at more the plant-based as opposed to the saturated fats coming from more animal-based. And how can you distinguish them too? They tend to be solid, eh? They usually be solid. So whenever you're buying meats and so on, you want to look for chicken, fish, or turkey. And whenever you're preparing it, try to trim off as much fat, that visible fat, from off the meat. Right? So instead of choosing chicken breast, thigh, you go for the chicken breast. Right? Even too, what you could do as well, instead of even choosing any proteins coming from animal-based, you could actually choose a plant-based protein. So anytime now, you want to think another tip. So remember, we're going to add it onto the plate, right? So half the plate is vegetables already. So the next quarter of the plate will have your lean proteins as well as the fats. The healthy fat, and the legumes and nuts.
One thing I like to find out, right? They say, well, it have like, all right, there's animal meats, right? So what about like sausage, processed stuff? Yeah.
So remember, we just talked about processed foods, right? So things like sausage and bacon and all those lovely things that we love, they have saturated fats, one, and they also have a lot of sodium, right? So again, you want to limit that. So in a daily diet, it should not have mainly those kind of foods. You want to choose your foods as natural as possible. So going back a little bit, half the plate vegetables, the next quarter of the plate will be your lean proteins and your legumes and nuts. Think about preparation, you're using healthy fats in moderation too as well, right? Another fat which I wanted to highlight is trans fat, because I know many persons are hearing lately about this trans fat. Now remember, also known as partially hydrogenated fat. In a nutshell, it's a process where they just put hydrogen molecules into this plant base. So long time, they used to say, okay, plant oils were really good, they want to hydrogenate it now. But what happens, it created this bad fat, right? And where they are found? The pastries, the cakes, the cookies, what else we love, right? So you want to kind of avoid them, but we can't avoid them every time, right? So that should not be making up most of your meals at all, right? So those are the fats you want to bear in mind. So again, we're going back, fiber up your diet, spice up your food naturally, lean proteins, which I didn't highlight too much of, but lean proteins, and also face your fats. Once you create that now, because the last quarter of your plate now, you realize half the plate is vegetables, right? So you have your lean proteins, etc., and so on. And that last one would have been the whole grain or any of your starchy foods and so on. So you realize for diabetes management, it's all about healthy eating. It's not no special diet, as the doctor mentioned before. It's about your choices you make, right? The portions, because everything you have to look at the amount, whether it being good, So not because it's whole wheat bread, you sit down and eat 5 and 6 slices, right? Or the provision going down real good and you want to eat a whole bowl, right? The amount still matter, because the amount could still cause the blood sugars to be high.
Right. Now, something I want to ask. All right. There's whole grains, there's vegetables. Well, all right, I just go out, right? So if, sometimes there's one eat like a little bit of fast food, talking about plenty, right? So if all right, KFC example, you take a piece of chicken, right? With the, now and then, right? But could you take, instead of taking steamed chicken, you take one piece and then you put vegetables in it? Yeah.
Good. So again, as we close with that day, as we mentioned that, convenience foods is part of our diet. We could have them, but it's how much we have. So even with your selection, if you had something fried and you end up taking your vegetables with it, that's not bad, and that is how often you're doing that, not every day, right? So that is where you want to limit those kind of foods, those convenience foods. So look at the choices you make. Remember, once you have the fiber there, it will help in keeping the cholesterol and the fats and so on low. It will help with lowering that. So again, we want to attempt those 4 principles anytime we are planning our meals, right? I hope you all remember it, and I'll go it over again, right? Because like I said, I've given you all a nutrition bite, right? So you could check the dietitians sometime, even by the table, they could even further guide you as to the portions and meal planning, because that tends to be a little bit more individualized, right? So, fiber up your diet, thinking whole wheat, whole grain products, good. Spice up your food naturally, and I want to pause a little bit of that. You all cook your food natural, right? None of the packed seasonings and those kind of things, good. Natural, your chive, your celery, your garlic, your ginger, etc. We have them now, defco day, all you. tell them bring some pimentos next time, right? And then to now, lean proteins, your chicken, your fish, your turkey, or you could sometimes go vegetarian as well. So that's like your peas, your beans, and nuts. And then face your fats. Look at the type of fat you are using in the preparation of your meals. Because again, one thing, we are controlling diabetes, but we want to protect our heart as well. Right? So thanks for having me. Thanks for the audience. One more question before I go.
Just wanted you to discuss a little bit about coconut oil because, you know, they say plant-based oil, but coconut oil is plant.
Right, so coconut oil, yes, is a plant-based oil, but remember it's also a tropical plant-based oil. So it tends to be on the saturated end. But because of the molecule, how it is designed, the structure of it, it's usually called a medium-chain triglyceride fat, and you must look it up as well. So usually in a nutshell, your body don't really store that fat as compared to the other fats. It's digested differently because of the molecule. So hence the reason why persons will say it is healthy now. You can't use it. It is a healthy fat. It's a plant-based fat, right? Preferably look at how you're buying it too. It's better to go more cold-pressed as opposed to if it's those other brands, right? And the two, you have to still use it in moderation, right? Because many a times I'm seeing persons, because it's coconut oil, I'm frying it, I'm baking with it, you're putting it in everything. I saw someone recently made a saltfish bulgur with coconut oil, and I swear it was more oil, and telling me it was healthy, right? So look at the moderation still, right? Or will make Asha run, yeah?
Last question. Give us a little advice on avocados, because we have been hearing different things about avocado.
Avocado as well, similar. Yes, it's a fat, but it has to be consumed in moderation, right? It's a healthy fat, it's a plant-based, but again, it is still a fat, so you cannot use it in excess. So when you sit down to have it, please, not the half of avocado with your meal, right? Just have a small amount, because if I was to give you a cup of olive oil to drink, would you drink that olive oil? And it's a healthy fat. So think about the relationship between both of them. Both of them plant-based, right? It's a healthy fat, but you cannot eat it in moderation, right? Good. Any other questions? But we are open, we are round, so you can ask us any other questions and so on. I want to thank the ATT for having me, and it was a nice audience as well. Asha.
Thank you very much, Nikita. Did you all find it interesting? We have another interesting lecture. As you all know that people living with diabetes must take their medications. And many people don't know exactly how to take their medications. They don't know what type of medications, when to take it. So I'm inviting anybody who wants to hear this lecture to please come and sit down and take in the lecture. I want to introduce two pharmacists from the SWRHA Regional Health Authority. And before they come, I'm sorry, Nikita. Let's do a presentation to Nikita. Nikita, we want to say thank you so very much. We always appreciate your help. Thank you very much, Nikita and Shobha. Okay, so as I said, I was introducing the two pharmacists from the SWRHA Regional Health Authority, and they will introduce themselves. Can you please come?
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Jade, and this is Yana, and we are, well, I work at Pleasantville Health Center, and she's from San Fernando General, right? So we're just going to give you like a little bit of information on the medication you use when you're diabetic. So apart from exercise and diet and all of that, when you're diabetic, you're going to have to use the medication anyways, right? So this is just a little overview on what it is we have available in the hospital and what it is you're using it for and how to correctly use it. So at hospital, the first line treatment for diabetes is like metformin, right? So what metformin does, it works by lowering like a glucose production in the liver and improving your body's sensitivity to insulin so that your body could use the insulin more effectively, right? Insulin is the hormone in your body that helps to break down the sugars and transport it to the cells to convert to energy. When it is that our body isn't producing enough insulin, that's when we have high blood sugar levels, and that's what leads to diabetes. So this is why it's important for us to do regular blood sugar testing to see if any of these things are happening to us. The second one that we have available at hospital is the glycoside, which that one helps the body to secrete the insulin, but this one may cause you to gain a little bit of weight. So for those of you that are diabetic and find that you're gaining weight when you're on the medication, it could be because the glycoside causes a little bit of weight gain. And the third one that we have available that most people use is the insulin. The insulin, well, that's the one you actually inject. And it's when the metformin and the glycoside don't work on their own. So now you actually have to go on to using, you have to actually inject the insulin to the body now to help bring down the sugar.
So what we will do today is basically give you some tips as to how to take your medication so that it will work effectively, because we have the misconception that you take some today, your sugar good, so you don't take none until the sugar is. And that's like probably 2-3 days down the line. And that's not how the medication works, because you're actually doing more harm to your body than good. So at our pharmacy booth, down at the corner there, we have some medication sheets which are very easy to fill out. So you put the name of your medication onto the sheet, you put what dose, how to take it. For example, metformin, you take it with a meal, because some of the common side effects would be like upset stomach, diarrhea, and things like that. And we can actually help tailor your medication, how you're using it, so that you don't experience that type of side effect. It's important to take your medication the same time every day so that it works effectively, because what happens is that the medication level may drop in your body, and as the doctor say, take it back in the morning, every morning, so that it doesn't drop to a level where it does not work. It's important as well to note that you cannot share your diabetes medication. Now, some people, because they experience what symptoms of high blood sugar, they'll be like, this metformin does work for me, so here, take 2. It doesn't work like that. You visit your doctor. Everyone who has to take diabetes medication, it's tailored specifically to you as a patient, because what works for me may not work for you, because diabetes has different types. You have type 1, type 2, and gestational, meaning that a pregnant woman can develop diabetes during her course of her pregnancy. So please don't share your medication. It's important to also know what medication you're on and how to take it, what it's for, and that's where the pharmacy services come in play. You can visit your pharmacy. In Southwest, we have pharmacies at the health center and at the hospitals, and you can come to the pharmacy and the pharmacist will be able to explain to you what the medication is for, how it works, when to take it, so it will be effective. Things like insulin, my colleague indicated that you have to inject it under the skin for it to be able to work. It's important to rotate the sites that you're injecting the insulin in. So I know some people, the fatty tissue, so it will be like the tummy or the side of the leg. You're not going to stick it in the tummy all the time, because what happens is you'll start to get a lump under the skin because of how many times you're going to be injecting that area. So you switch up the sites. And when you switch the sites, it allows the medication to enter the system and work effectively. It's important to also involve your family members in your treatment. Take someone with you to the doctor. Sometimes you may not remember everything, because one, you're waiting long to see the doctor, you may be hungry, and by the time you get in there, you're tired, and the doctor's saying something and you can't remember everything. So it's important to take someone with you, so whatever you don't hear, someone else will hear. They will know how to use your medication. They'll be able to guide you along, and they'll be able to also tell you, here, what, you see that extra piece of chocolate you want to have? You can't have it today. It's also very important to use the pharmacy services we have available. Speak to your pharmacist. There are side effects that may happen to you, but you may not experience it. Speak to your pharmacist, and we in turn will be able to help you get a regimen that will be able to work effectively. We want to thank you all very much for your attention.
Did anybody have any questions for our pharmacists? No? Okay. So we're moving straight on to the next lecture, which is our physiotherapy person, Stacy. So you all know when things happen, you need physiotherapy services. So I'm going to introduce you to Stacy, who will give you a short lecture on physiotherapy. But before that, we need to make a presentation to our pharmacist, Shobha. And while we're doing that, Stacy, you can come and talk on your physiotherapy.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if this is a good time to speak because either you all are waiting to have lunch or waiting to finish City Boots. So I have been given 15 minutes. So for those who know me, know that is a very, very short time because I like to talk. So I'll try not to bore you. And I will try to give the important information that you have come to receive. So before I get into any meat of the matter, let me ask this small number of you who are sitting here just to stand for a minute. Quick standing. You all have been sitting for a while. So even the persons at the San Fernando branch at your booth, I want you to stand just for a minute, just for a quick minute. Everybody at the booths, Nestle people. My Nestle persons, just stand for a minute. From farm to table, they're standing already. Wonderful. So let me just do a quick test here. I want everybody to stand on one foot. I'm not looking at somebody high heels I see in here. I will give him a card. You're back going to give us some trouble later on. Maybe a few years from now, but it coming. Stand on one leg, no holding of anything. Let me see who could do it. Let me see who falling down. This is a good sobriety test. Close your eyes while you stand on the one leg. So I've seen some trouble here. Don't let the other leg touch that foot, you know. So I've seen some people wobbling. You all could sit a little bit. Just want to get the blood circulating. So yeah, some of you have balance problems. You all need physiotherapy. So physiotherapy is a profession that involves the assessment, the diagnosis and treatment of any problem affecting bone, muscle, heart, lungs, and brain. So you have neck pain, back pain, arthritis, adronchitis, brittle bone disease, cerebral palsy, you had a stroke, you had a sporting injury, asthma we manage, you have a pneumonia you manage. A lot of people only think about physiotherapy when they have a pain or if they fell down and they broke the hip. But physiotherapy involves a wide scope. So many of you who have had surgeries before would have had physiotherapy while you were in hospital. But especially for today, as our focus is diabetes, because the 14th of November is International Day of the Diabetic. And I dare say for those who are pre-diabetic, and I dare say for those who have family members who are diabetic, I want to emphasize the importance of exercise. Now, many of you all, I'm sure, exercise. Anybody exercises here? What kind of exercise you do? Let me hear. What sort of physical exercise? Not getting up for the remote control, that is not exercise. Tell us what you do. What exercise you do?
Weight exercise.
Well, he looking good, You want to tell us your age?
74.
He's 74 years young, and he has more muscles than most of us sitting here. Shame. So you give me more incentive to get back into my own program, yes? So some people say they exercise. They see about the dog. They hang up clothes. They went gardening. And that is all well and good. That is called physical activity, where you expend some energy. But when we are talking about exercise, we are talking about something that is repetitive, something that is sustainable, something that has some goals to it. So for me, my plan is to play mass next year in Bliss if all you see my costume. And it's white, It's a nice white. But you know, white does make us look a little broader. So I'm trying hard because I have to fit into my costume. So my goal is to fit into the costume for Carnival. But what is your goal with regards to the diabetes? We want to ensure that we are able to control the diabetes, minimize the use of the medications, and prevent the complications. We have heard some of the doctors, some of the other speakers speak about the complications, the strokes, the amputations, the heart attacks. My youngest type 2 diabetic patient at the moment is 18 years old, and they're skinny like this. But because they started drinking pension, I want to say punch, and I don't know if I can say that here. They started drinking pension very, very early. So we need to speak to the dietitian about alcohol. You know, some patients say, but it's not sweet. Alcohol is pure sugar. But that is on the side. So when we are looking at control of diabetes, it must be a combination of appropriate diet and exercise, not just physical activity. Again, we want it to be purposeful, repetitive, sustainable, with goals attached to it. How much exercise should we get a week? Anybody knows the figure, how much we should get minimum? We are supposed to get 150 minutes of exercise every week. That is small numbers. That is about 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Or 75 minutes a week of vigorous exercise. So if you like weights, like my 74-year young gentleman there, that is excellent amount of exercise to reduce your blood sugar levels. Your blood glucose levels can be reduced by up to 20 points. That is a huge number. By up to 20 points with exercise alone for up to 48 hours. So if we exercise now, if we run around Gulf City for the next half hour, our blood sugar levels can be dropped by 20 points over the next 48 hours. So if you are able to continuously exercise with the aim of reducing your blood sugar levels, with those sorts of figures, it means that you can be weaned off your medication, because despite all best intentions, the use of excess medications also has its effect. So you'll hear some people saying exercise is medicine. I will tell you exercise is better than medicine. So if you are unsure of what exercise is appropriate for you, because walking most times is not enough, you should see a physiotherapist. Now, many of our doctors, and they mean well, and they know I love them, but saying to go and walk is inadequate. I have doctors who tell the patients, go to the gym. That is bad advice. And I'll give you an example. I had a patient who had a retinopathy. They had diabetes uncontrolled, and it affected the retina, the nerve at the back of the eye. They were advised by the doctor, because they had all best intentions, to go to the gym, and because they went to weight train, the retina detached. So that is why everybody, there was a minister years ago and say everybody had a place, but everybody had to know their place. So when you want to know what are the best exercises to suit you, especially if you have another underlying condition, such as diabetic retinopathy, if you have the neuropathy or the nerve issue in your legs, if you have an associated kidney problem, if you are also hypertensive, or you have had a previous history of stroke or cancers, if the doctor does not refer you, let them refer you to a registered physiotherapist who is experienced in treating the diabetic patients. And we exist. So I thank the Diabetes Association very much for allowing me this time. Again, Asha stressed me out by telling me I only had 15 minutes, because all now we're running around. Don't let this ice fall, we're running around Gulf City to warm up before the next set of speakers. But just remember, physiotherapy is more than just treating your pain. And with regards to diabetes, you should be seen by a physiotherapist so that you can be assessed, so that the appropriate exercise can be prescribed for you, especially if you have any other underlying complications. Asha, thank you very much.
So thank you so much for keeping it at 15 minutes. Do you have any questions? It's a small crowd now. Any questions? If you don't have any questions now and you want to talk to her, she's at the booth to my left. And before you go, Stacey, we want to make a presentation to you and say thank you very much for making this presentation. And I want to introduce our last speaker for this evening. She is a health coach that I have known for a couple of years now. Her name is Tracy Leeson, and she will talk about a topic that she chooses to talk about. I'm not sure exactly what she will be talking about. So Tracy? She's going to walk with her charts. So Tracy will tell you a little more about herself and what she does.
Hi, my name is Tracy Leeson. I'm a certified health coach. And if you all could just read this, if you could agree, that a poor man who's rich in health is richer than a rich man who's poor in health. At the end of the day, we all want more life. And we should really try to attain more quality of life. So as a health coach, I teach people how to eat, how to food combine, how to, what they should and shouldn't have to affect their health. So basically, there are two main root causes of disease: deficiency and toxicity. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about how we can get, how does deficiency, can you all see? Oh, sorry. Can you see now? Okay. All right, so to address any illness, we literally need to be cause-driven and not symptom-driven. So a lot of people have a symptom, I have a headache. They go and they take a tablet. Have they stopped to think, did I drink enough water today? Did I get sufficient sleep? Did I eat? Am I stressed? But they take the tablet. So a lot of things there are tablets there for, but we have to look at what is causing things. Here are some of the things that will actually cause deficiency in the body: poor relationships, spiritual imbalance, lack of sleep. How many people are waking up just after 3 every morning? No? Just one person? All right. Usually, every night, your body goes through a nightly cleanse. Between 10 and 2, your liver is detoxing, trying to pull out the toxins out of the body. When you're waking up at 3, it's usually a sign that your liver is a bit congested. That's one of the things that I do, and you hear that over and over, that liver has a lot to do with getting diabetes. So one of the things I do is help people to cleanse their liver. So, here are some of the things that can cause toxicity. Sugar, well, we all know. Heavy metals, microwave. How many people think that the microwave is the greatest thing? Right, well, the microwave is a nightmare. The microwave destroys 97% of the nutrition in food. And yes, it saves you a couple minutes, but it's taken years off your life. All right, it is radiation technology, it's not heat. And if it is that you put food in there, after you take it out, you've almost genetically modified your own food. If you start switching to heating up in a toaster oven or heating it on the stove, you'll drastically improve your health. Not only that, because the nutrition is lost, a lot of times our stomach is full, but our brain hasn't been fed. If you don't feed your brain over time, you lose your brain. So all these diseases now of Alzheimer's and dementia and so can be linked to not feeding your body properly. So processed foods is one thing, but if we use the microwave, it's not ideal. Okay. So I know I don't have much time, so I just want to end a little bit about how digestion works. A lot of people suffer with acid reflux. Anybody knows anyone who suffers with acid reflux? No? Okay, so I'm just going to give you a couple of tips of how we could address that. So basically, when we eat, food goes into our esophagus and goes into our stomach. We need a lot of stomach acid to break down food. People who suffer with acid reflux are often told that they have too much acid. It's actually the complete opposite. You don't have enough. And what causes this lack of acid a lot of times is not combining your food properly, drinking and eating. When you drink and eat at the same time, you are diluting the very little acid that you have. It's ideal that you should drink a half an hour before your meal and drink an hour after to drastically improve digestion. After the stomach acid works on your food now, your liver produces bile to then neutralize your stomach acid. Your bile is 9.5 on the acid-alkaline scale, very, very alkaline. If you've ever vomited, you know that it tastes bitter. In fact, most bitter foods are alkalining foods. What happens is over time when we make poor decisions, like eating too much sugar, eating too much meat, a lot of drugs and so, our body, our liver gets filled up with stones and our gallbladder gets clogged with stones. Eventually, these stones, they form in our ampulla and block our pancreatic duct. And so that is when we now have to get outside insulin to break down fats and proteins. Eating plenty pepper, I'm not sure if it will affect the pancreas or not, but I know for some people they just simply can't tolerate it. I'm one who can't tolerate a lot of pepper. I'm not sure how it affects the pancreas, to be honest. So, as a health coach, I help people how to make good decisions. I even teach people how to remove these stones so that you can start getting your body to start working as it's supposed to. Some of the signs that you may have had a congested liver is waking up in the middle of the night, having a deep crease between your eyebrows, dark circles, depression, allergies. A lot of these are linked to different things that you go to specialists for, and all can be solved by cleansing your liver out. I was diagnosed in September last year with a hormone imbalance, and that's when I realized that my liver needed cleansing. I was started to get hairs growing out of my chin. I didn't like it at all. After I cleansed my liver, I lost 14 pounds. My sleep improved drastically. I'm 48 years old and my bone density is 26% better than a 25-year-old. So lots of things have improved because I teach people how to eat, how to food combine, how to cleanse their body. So I hope I was helpful. There is no, I don't believe that any condition needs to be just lived with and managed with medication. So a lot of people will agree with me, but as a health coach, I've helped people with cancer, with all different conditions, from autism, to help improve their state of life. But there is no quick fix. It has to be, you want it, and so you have to make the changes. So unfortunately, not everybody is there as yet. So if you decide to, I have a card across there. You're welcome to check me out to see how naturally to improve your health. Thank you. Any?
I heard you talk about, well, lack of sleep, right? Right. Well, so how I'm 28 years old. I like to wake late, but we mean as a lack of sleep, like waking till in the morning.
All right, our bodies work on a circadian rhythm. We need the sun, and when we go outside of the cycle in which we are supposed to sleep, we literally feel like we're jet lagged. Even though we would sleep longer, we still wake up and feel like we're in another country. Our liver does its cleanse between 10 and 2. You need to be sleeping then. When you don't do that, you drastically affect your heart, you affect all your organs in your body. Sleep, as my grandmother used to say, is like food. It can't be replaced. So when you're overtired, what you do is try to compensate with sugary foods and coffee and all these things to keep you up, when what you haven't done is rested. Rest is very important in healing. Also, a lot of people, even though we're in a tropical climate, are not getting sun. Sun creates a hormone called serotonin. Serotonin turns into melatonin, and melatonin is what you need to sleep and stay asleep. So when we're on our electronics right until bed, and we can't fall asleep and the TV is on, all of those lights interfere with melatonin production. They drastically reduce it. So we need to cut down on those things. Think about when you're putting a child to sleep, a baby. Do you put on the TV, turn on the music, get them all hyper, and then say go to bed? No. You get a warm bath, you read a story, and you lull them into sleep. But we aren't doing that. So we are going to pay the price. Sleep is very, very important in healing. Anybody else has questions? Throw it away. This is my opinion, and you can do with what you want, but usually when I take people off the microwave, they usually get flu-like symptoms because all of a sudden their body is getting all kinds of nutrition that they never had before, and the body dispels the toxins, and healing takes place rapidly. Microwaves are, if you need nutrition to heal, having microwave food is having no nutrition. Hold on, let me show you a little thing here. All right, so the microwave, seeing at your ass, was developed around the time of the Second World War. When they gave the soldiers the microwave food, they started getting depressed. They started not being able to fight. And they should have known that it was not creating energy. The microwave is radiation technology, so it's an agitation of molecules. It's not heat. And it may feel like it's saving your time, but it's actually taking time away from you. Because of the radiation technology, it can be radiating your food creates your blood. So if you radiate your food, you're radiating your blood. And that's why it can be a cause of cancer. It can be a cause of obesity and malnutrition, because if you keep eating something that has no nutrition in it, because 97% of the nutrition is lost when you use the microwave, then you're being malnourished. Malnourishment looks like this, and it also looks like obesity. If it is that the food that you put in there has no nutrition and you're asking your pancreas day after day to produce insulin to break it down, it's going to give up on you. And finally, if every food that you eat has no nutrition, then your gut is filled, but your brain hasn't been fed. And over time, you lose your mind. And that's why Alzheimer's is so rampant now. Not only because of the microwave, but all of the other chemicals and toxins and aluminums and stuff that we all put in our bodies. So as a health coach, I help people to remove toxins and make better choices. My tagline is small changes, big results. All right, and so I hope I was able to help you.
No. I just want to say thank you to Tracy. I asked her impromptu to do this lecture, and I'm sure that you all enjoyed what she has to say. So if you want further information, please go to her booth. She'll be there for just a little longer. And I want to say thank you very much, Tracy. It's already 2:30, and we want to draw our raffle. So those who took part in the raffle, please listen for your number because you'll win a Nestle hamper. Can we have the bag, please? Videsh, can you come and draw a number? Come to the front.
Number 15, 15.
Anybody has number 15? You can win a hamper. Just remember, if we run out of numbers, we take back the hamper.
Next, anybody? 15? Next number.
Number 55.
Anybody has number 55? So number 55 went home. We're going to draw until we get a winner. Anybody wants to take a chance? We will, okay, let's try one more time.
Number 18, 1-8.
1-8. Number 18. Anybody with number 18? No? Three. Okay.
77.
Number 77. Leela, you have number 77? No. Anybody with number 77? We'll do 2 more numbers, and if it isn't drawn, we'll ask people to take chances who are here. Right? Because we don't want to go back with the hamper. Yeah? It's only $5 a chance to win a Nestle hamper. Okay? 2 more.
Number 4.
Who has number 4? 4. Okay.
I feel easy one here. Number 51.
51. Okay. We'll give people 5 minutes to take some chances, and then we'll start back drawing. Come to the diabetes booth. It's a really nice hamper. We're not going to go home with it. $5 for a chance. So please come and take. We're giving you 5 minutes, and then we'll do the draw again. Okay? All right? Everybody in the mall, come and take a chance. You can win a Nestle hamper. Left a number to call them if they won. And they won, so we will call them and tell them to collect. So the winner is Judith Dick, and we will call her and let her know that she won the hamper and give it to her. So let's give her a round of applause because she was here almost the entire day. Yeah, and just left. Thank you all for participating.